Hi there. Yeah, so I think having been in the property for quite some time, the excitement about it is moving on to the next phase by expanding our portfolio. My background in the HR field and definitely in the field of business, being an executive, helps me quite a bit to spot the deals, but also to be able to have a look at how I can have the best team behind me. It's my husband and I that is on this property venture, and I don't want to say journey because it's no longer a journey for us. It's now about building our portfolio. But we have been really blessed in being able to utilize the knowledge that we've gained from not only being members of the SAPN group, but also, having been on legacy training and really attending each and every webinar we can, every event that we can, and surrounding ourselves with power teams, because we've learned that if we grow the teams and have hubs of teams, that we really have the skills level that we need in the property industry. I think with both our skills and the fact that we run businesses to the T, that we feel confident. And I don't mean that in a blasé way, that this is a genuine opportunity. So I think the other thing is just to bring on board with the deal. Look, we sourced this property because of the area that is really booming. We realized that in this area, and this is a house in Kraaifontein, it's at the moment a residential dwelling, of course, but it stands on an amalgamated plot. So it's two plots into one with a single dwelling. Now, in comparison to the houses otherwise in the area, there's none of that size, both the house nor the plot. So this is a great opportunity. We sourced it through Property 24. We approached the agent, initially very sturdy on the price. The seller would not let go of the price. But eventually what we saw is that there are so many people that arrived to look at the house. We realized we were one of about 4 people signing the OTP on the first day. But we took a bit longer. We did homework before the time. So the other people that wanted to sign the OTPs, one of which did in the end, they signed it based on the fact that they still had to sell other properties. We convinced the agent that we will go in below the market price. We are about 9% lower because we won't be going the bond route, and that we would be sourcing alternative funding for this deal. So we got the city planner on board, we got the urban development team on board. We need to go see the town council so that we get all of the rezoning information in place. We had the architect on board. She did the site visit with us. We had the builders on board. And then, of course, we got the quotes. When we had a look at our due diligence of the area, we took into consideration that this is part of the spatial development framework, and that mixed use is first and foremost the city's goal for the next 5 years. And that was just echoed by our urban planner, which is Andre Roux. So when we took the photos of the house, we realized that it is in such a good condition. I mean, we looked from top to bottom. Nothing on the roof was an issue. It's really a sturdy property. So, yeah, what we needed on this deal is to bring the investors on board, purely because we have got other properties and business ventures at the moment with properties, lots of buy-to-lets that we have very successfully. Ours didn't have waiting to break even. We make profit from the beginning because we really buy right. But in this case, we do not want to take a bond as yet because of other ventures that's coming forth as well. We need on this deal 4 investors to come on board. Investment amounts about 927,000 per person. I do think that for some people might be a big number. For us, being in business so long, it's not small money, but we know what we can do with it. So in total, we would need we need definitely 3,708,000 on this deal. Because of the refurbishments that we're doing, and just quickly about that, This dwelling has got multiple ensuite units. So what we're doing is converting the front part of the house, which is a dining area and a lounge area and a foyer. That would be the reception area for a doctor and a dentist. So one would take the dining room, one would take the lounge, which we'll convert, and we'll put a restaurant up next door in one of the adjacent rooms, and do the other side of the house, because it's built into the front and back side. It's separated with a passage. So the back side of the house, we will do an ensuite bachelors. We have got nurses units, we've got a young professional unit, and then there's a lovely entertainment area at the moment, but that is converted then to a young couples area. But the biggest and the most exciting is to make use of the vacant land that's there and put up an outside building. This would then be for an educare centre, and when we checked with the urban planners, they were very happy to hear that there's another a development almost in the area, because they were looking for people that would come forth and do the educare, or the facilities at least. So we'll put down the educare facility there. There is a block that's being built less than 150 meters away. So we know the demand for those people's children to have a safe environment is essential. And with that comes the demand to have doctors. That block is 150 units, and down the road there's another 3,062 units being built in the next year and a half. That's on a vacant piece of land of a farm. So I get excited about this deal, because we are looking at a return on investment there of 21%. We have a yield of 39%, and we've run the numbers. I can tell you with certainty, having done this before, yeah, we're very excited about the deal. I think it would be remiss for someone not to know the duration of the deal. We are wanting to have the funding up front, all of the funding up front. Of course, it goes through our lawyers and to the trust account there, and they manage that for us. But the reason we want it up front, and want is a very big word, but more so we want to secure it up front. This deal is very time sensitive because of the sellers wanting the cash as quickly as possible, and because we've managed to convince them not to take the OTPs on, because we cancelled the 72-hour clause, we managed to convince them on this deal because of the funding that wouldn't be linked to a selling of a property. So we're time sensitive in getting the funding. We have to, by the 14th of September, give proof that we have the funding, and then 14 days to actually pay it over. The project duration is 12 months. Now, the rezoning of the property is already in the beginning phase. We will submit during this week. We have an option to submit either commercial rezoning, which would take most probably 10 months, or a consent rezoning. So what we'll do in this instance, we'll run with a consent rezoning first, or the consent rezoning, because it will give us room to start with the educare already, because we can take beneficial occupation. We've already negotiated that, and that means that we could be well on our way very, very quickly. Getting back to you as the investor, we would like to give you your return on investment after 12 months. And how we can do that is either by bonding the property ourselves then at that time, because our other ventures is then complete. And the other option is then to get in other investors if we still need. But we're not worried about that. In fact, I'm very sure that we'd be able to do that before the time. If I see the demand that is currently there, we go look at a property in the morning, in the evening it's sold. So it's really a question that your funding would be secure at the lawyers, your term would be 12 months, and exit strategies, really, if something goes wrong in this, we'll sell the property. We know the market is good for it. And alternatively, we could just sell the businesses in the property that will be running at that time. Yeah, I think it's important that I just mention that with us, business is important, but people carry the weight. So we wouldn't have a team of people with us that didn't share our like-mindedness in this project, and we wouldn't have you as an investor if you didn't share the like-mindedness of property and the success that goes with it, but also the passion for growing a portfolio. So I want to invite you, please, if you have any questions, please send it through to Nico at Bruno Samoa, to the info address. We will gladly answer them. I'll provide you, obviously, with the photos, the monies, the funding, whatever else that you wanted to know. Great, let's have a chat, because I really look forward to having you on board and being one of our investors. So thank you for the opportunity.